5 American corporations control over 60% of everything in your local supermarket. You think you are buying British brands, but you are not. Cadbury is American, Walker's is American, Heinz is American. They changed the recipes, lowered the standards, and pumped in more sugar, more additives, and more chemicals than you can imagine. British supermarket workers watch this happen every single day, and they are tired of staying silent. Here are 10 American brands poisoning UK shelves. What you discover will change how you shop forever. Number 10. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. If you walk down the breakfast aisle, you will see those colourful boxes: frosted strawberry, chocolate fudge, and s'mores flavour. The packaging screams convenience. Just toast them for 90 seconds and you have breakfast. Except these are not breakfast. They are ultra-processed sugar bombs marketed as morning nutrition. Each Pop-Tart contains around 23 grams of sugar. That is nearly 6 teaspoons in a single pastry. The recommended daily sugar intake for adults is 30 grams. 2 Pop-Tarts, which is the standard serving size Kellogg suggests, gives you 46 grams of sugar before 9 in the morning. But the sugar is just the beginning. Look at the ingredient list. High fructose corn syrup, dextrose, soybean oil, TBHQ preservative. TBHQ is tertiary butyl hydroquinone, a petroleum-based preservative banned in many countries. It is used to extend shelf life. Pop-Tarts can sit in your cupboard for months without going stale because they contain chemicals designed to prevent decomposition. The filling is not even real fruit. It is a mixture of corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, and artificial flavors designed to taste like strawberries or blueberries. The frosting contains artificial colors that have been linked to hyperactivity in children. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1. These synthetic dyes are banned or require warning labels in the EU, but Kellogg's freely uses them in the UK market. Here is what makes this genuinely disturbing. Kellogg's markets Pop-Tarts as a breakfast food. They position them alongside cereals and porridge. Parents rushing to get kids ready for school grab these, thinking they are providing a quick, harmless breakfast. But you are essentially giving your children dessert before school. This is just entry-level American ultra-processing. The next brand targets children even more aggressively. Number 9. Lucky Charms and American cereal brands. Walk down the American cereal aisle and you will see Lucky Charms, Reese's Puffs, Cookie Crisp, and Fruit Loops staring back at you from brightly coloured boxes covered in cartoon characters, prizes, and games designed to hook children. General Mills and Kellogg's have successfully turned breakfast cereal into candy that you pour milk over. Lucky Charms contains 10 grams of sugar per 30 grams serving. That is 33% sugar by weight. 1/3 of what your child is eating is pure sugar. The marshmallows are made from corn syrup, modified cornstarch, gelatin, and artificial colors. They are not food. They are edible chemistry experiments. Reese's Puffs is even worse. 13 grams of sugar per serving. The cereal is designed to taste like Reese's peanut butter cups. It contains both real Reese's peanut butter and cocoa, but also contains BHT preservative, artificial flavor, and caramel color. BHT is butylated hydroxytoluene, a chemical preservative that has been banned in infant foods in many countries. Cookie Crisp is literally cookies for breakfast. The cereal pieces are shaped like chocolate chip cookies. Each serving contains 9 grams of sugar, but who eats just one serving? Children pour large bowls, add milk, and consume what amounts to a dessert meal before school starts. Here is the comparison UK parents need to understand. A bowl of porridge made from oats contains 0 added sugar, provides sustained energy, and keeps children full until lunch. A bowl of Lucky Charms provides a massive sugar spike, followed by a crash, followed by mid-morning hunger and poor concentration. The American cereal industry has spent billions convincing parents that these products are acceptable breakfast options. They add synthetic vitamins and minerals, then claim the cereal is nutritious. But adding vitamin D to candy does not make candy healthy. The sugar content overwhelms any nutritional benefit from fortification. UK supermarkets now dedicate entire aisles to American cereal brands. Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda all stock multiple varieties. The profit margins are substantial. These cereals cost pennies to manufacture and sell for £3 to £4 per box. American cereals have normalized dessert for breakfast, but the next brand has an even darker history. Number 8. Hershey's chocolate. British people trying American chocolate for the first time often describe it as tasting like vomit. That is not an exaggeration. It is biochemistry. Hershey's chocolate contains butyric acid, the same compound that gives vomit its distinctive smell and taste. Milton Hershey developed his chocolate recipe in the late 1800s using a process that partially lipolyzed the milk fat. This process breaks down fatty acids and creates butyric acid. The result is a tangy, sour flavor that Americans grew up with and now consider normal. But to European palates accustomed to Cadbury's or Lindt, Hershey's tastes genuinely rancid. The ingredient list is equally disturbing. Hershey's milk chocolate contains sugar, milk, chocolate, cocoa butter, lactose, milk fat, soy lecithin, PGPR, and artificial flavor. PGPR is polyglycerol polyracinoate, an emulsifier made from castor beans that replaces more expensive cocoa butter. The sugar content is massive. A standard Hershey's bar contains 24 grams of sugar. That is 6 teaspoons in a 43-gram bar. Over 50% of the bar is sugar. By weight. Compare that to dark chocolate from European manufacturers, which typically contains 60 to 70% cocoa and minimal added sugar. Here is what UK consumers need to understand. Hershey's is not chocolate in the European sense. It is a chocolate-flavored confection made primarily from sugar and milk, with just enough cocoa to legally call it chocolate. US regulations require only 10% cocoa content for milk chocolate. EU regulations require 25% minimum. Despite this quality difference, Hershey's has aggressively expanded into UK supermarkets. You will find Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Hershey's Kisses, Hershey's Cookies, and cream bars. They are positioned as premium American imports and priced accordingly. British consumers pay premium prices for chocolate that would be considered low quality in continental Europe. Hershey's brought vomit-flavored chocolate to UK shelves. But the next American brand destroyed something even more precious. Number 7. Cadbury by Mondelez. This one hurts. Cadbury was a British institution for nearly 200 years. Founded in Birmingham in 1824, Cadbury represented British chocolate craftsmanship. Then, in 2010, Kraft Foods purchased Cadbury for £11.5 billion. Within months, everything changed. Kraft immediately closed the Somerdale factory despite promising to keep it open. 700 British workers lost their jobs because Kraft moved production to Poland, where they could pay workers less. Then things got even worse. Kraft split itself into 2 separate companies, and a newly created American corporation called Mondelez International took control of Cadbury. Britain's most beloved chocolate brand was now owned and run by American executives who cared more about profit margins than heritage. The recipe changes began quietly. Mondelez replaced cocoa butter with palm oil in some products. They reduced the size of dairy milk bars while maintaining prices. They altered the chocolate formula to use cheaper ingredients. British consumers noticed immediately. The taste was different. The texture was wrong. The chocolate that defined childhoods had been ruined. In 2015, Mondelez changed the creme egg recipe. They removed dairy milk chocolate from the shell and replaced it with standard cocoa mix chocolate. Fans were outraged. The company denied the change initially, then admitted it, but claimed the taste was the same. It was not the same. Anyone with functioning taste buds could tell the difference. The Freddo price is perhaps the most visible symbol of American corporate greed. When Kraft bought Cadbury, Freddos cost 10 pence. Today they cost 25 pence or more. That is a 150% price increase in just over a decade. The bar size has shrunk. The chocolate quality has decreased, but the price keeps rising. Here is what British consumers need to understand. Mondelez operates on American profit maximization principles. Every decision is about quarterly earnings and shareholder returns. Quality is secondary. Heritage is irrelevant. If replacing cocoa butter with palm oil saves 2 pence per bar, they will do it regardless of taste impact. Mondelez also introduced American-style portion sizes to the UK market. Share bags became massive. Multi-pack offerings expanded. The goal is not to satisfy customers. The goal is to drive overconsumption and increase sales volume. British chocolate culture traditionally valued quality over quantity. Mondelez reversed that priority. Supermarket employees at Tesco and Sainsbury's watch as Cadbury products dominate shelf space. The brand recognition is still strong. Parents who grew up loving Cadbury buy it for their children, not realizing the chocolate inside those purple wrappers is fundamentally different from what they remember. Mondelez destroyed Cadbury's heritage for profit, but the next brand has been poisoning British families for decades. Number 6. Heinz ketchup. Heinz seems like a British staple. It has been in UK cupboards for generations. Most people do not even realise Heinz is an American company founded in Pittsburgh in 1869. But that American heritage explains everything wrong with Heinz ketchup. It is 23% sugar. 100 grams of Heinz tomato ketchup contains 23.2 grams of sugar. That is nearly 6 teaspoons of sugar in just 100 grams. A standard serving size is about 15 grams, which contains 3.5 grams of sugar, but nobody uses just one serving. People pour ketchup generously over chips, burgers, and breakfast. A typical usage is closer to 30 to 40 grams, which means 7 to 9 grams of sugar per meal. The ingredient list reveals the problem: tomatoes, spirit vinegar, sugar, salt, spice, and herb extracts and spice. Sugar is the third ingredient. It is more prominent than salt. Heinz is not tomato sauce. It is a tomato-flavored sugar sauce designed to make bland food taste good. Here is the comparison that should shock UK consumers. Italian tomato passata contains tomatoes and sometimes salt. That is it. No added sugar, no preservatives, just tomatoes. But Italian passata tastes like tomatoes, which is too plain for palates conditioned by American sugar levels. Heinz has trained multiple generations to expect sweetness in savory foods. The problem extends beyond ketchup. Heinz baked beans contain 5.2 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Heinz tomato soup contains 3.1 grams per 100 milliliters. Heinz salad cream, Heinz pasta sauces, Heinz mayonnaise. Nearly every Heinz product contains substantially more sugar than comparable European brands. This is American food engineering at work. The US food industry discovered decades ago that sugar drives consumption. Sweet foods are more palatable. They override natural satiety signals. They create cravings. Adding sugar to savory products like ketchup increases sales volume because people use more and buy more frequently. Heinz dominates UK supermarket shelves because of brand recognition and aggressive marketing. The distinctive glass bottle has become iconic. The slogan, "It has to be Heinz," has created brand loyalty that transcends taste. British consumers pour sugar sauce over their meals and call it tradition. Supermarket data shows Heinz ketchup outsells all competitors combined in the UK market. The profit margins are substantial because the ingredients are incredibly cheap: tomatoes, vinegar, sugar, and water. But Heinz charges premium prices because the brand perception is quality and authenticity. Heinz has been hiding sugar in savory food for generations, but the next brand made ultra-processing seem healthy. Number 5. Walker's Sensations by PepsiCo. Walker's seems British. The packaging features British imagery. The marketing emphasizes UK potatoes, but Walker's is owned by PepsiCo, an American corporation headquartered in New York. And the Sensations range represents everything deceptive about American food marketing. Sensations launched in 2002 as a premium crisp range. Thai sweet chili, Moroccan spiced, lime and Thai spices. The positioning was sophisticated snacking. premium ingredients, restaurant-inspired flavors, adult consumers who wanted something better than standard crisps. But look at the actual ingredients. Sensations Thai sweet chili contains potatoes, sunflower oil, sugar, rice flour, glucose, dextrose, and a long list of flavor enhancers, including monosodium glutamate, disodium inosinate, and disodium guanylate. These are the same additives used in standard Walker's crisps. The premium pricing does not reflect premium ingredients. It reflects premium marketing. The fat content is identical to that of regular crisps, around 30% fat by weight. The salt content is similarly high. A 30-gram bag contains 0.6 grams of salt, which is 10% of the daily recommended maximum. Eat 3 bags and you have consumed 30% of your daily salt limit before considering any other meals. Here is what PepsiCo does not advertise. Sensations are made in the same factories as regular Walkers. The potatoes are the same. The oil is the same. The cooking process is the same. The main difference is the flavoring powder, which costs PepsiCo pennies more per bag. But they charge 40 to 50% more at retail. The flavor engineering is deliberately addictive. PepsiCo employs food scientists who optimize the combination of salt, fat, and flavor enhancers to hit the bliss point. This is the precise formula that maximizes palatability and drives overconsumption. Your brain gets a reward signal with each crisp, and the bag disappears before you realize you have eaten 30 grams of fat and 0 nutrition. PepsiCo has systematically expanded Walkers from a simple, crisp brand into a dominant snack empire. Sensations Max, deep-ridged, Pops, baked. Each range targets a specific market segment, but they all use the same ultra-processed formula. High fat, high salt, scientifically optimized flavors designed to override satiety. British supermarkets dedicate entire sections to Walker's products. The shelf space reflects sales volume and profit margins. PepsiCo pays for premium placement and promotional displays. Consumers walk past genuinely healthier snack options to grab Walkers because the brand recognition and flavor engineering are irresistible. PepsiCo made ultra-processed crisps seem premium, but the next brand has been poisoning British drinks for decades. Number 4. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is the most recognized brand in the world. The red and white logo is everywhere. British supermarkets stock dozens of varieties across multiple shelves, and every single product is a liquid sugar bomb that has contributed to the UK obesity epidemic. A standard 330 milliliter can of Coca-Cola contains 35 grams of sugar. That is nearly 9 teaspoons. The World Health Organization recommends adults consume no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day. One can of Coke exceeds that limit by 40%. One drink contains more added sugar than you should consume in an entire day, but the sugar content is only part of the problem. Coca-Cola contains phosphoric acid, which gives it the sharp, tangy taste. This acid has a pH of 2.5, which is highly acidic. It erodes tooth enamel with regular consumption. Dentists across the UK report seeing patients with severe enamel damage directly correlated to soft drink consumption. The caffeine content creates mild dependency. A can of Coke contains 32 milligrams of caffeine, not enough to provide significant energy, but enough to create withdrawal headaches if consumption stops suddenly. Coca-Cola has engineered its product to be mildly addictive through both sugar and caffeine. The marketing targets children relentlessly. Coca-Cola sponsors school sports programs, they advertise during children's television programming, they place vending machines in schools and youth centers. The goal is to establish brand loyalty before children develop critical thinking about nutrition. Hook them young, keep them hooked for life. Coca-Cola has expanded aggressively beyond the original formula. Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Cherry Coke, Vanilla Coke, Coca-Cola Energy. Each variation uses the same marketing machine and distribution power. British supermarkets stock them all because the profit margins are enormous. The product costs pennies to manufacture and sells for pounds per bottle. The environmental impact is catastrophic. Coca-Cola produces over 100 billion plastic bottles annually. Many end up in landfills or oceans. The company has resisted deposit return schemes and fought against plastic reduction initiatives. Profit trumps environmental responsibility at every turn. Here is what British consumers rarely consider. Coca-Cola is an American corporation that has successfully exported its sugar water formula globally. The product provides zero nutritional value. It damages teeth. It contributes to obesity and diabetes. It creates plastic waste. But it dominates UK supermarket coolers because the marketing has convinced generations that Coke is a refreshment rather than poison. Supermarket employees watch families buy multi-packs weekly. Cases of Coke move faster than water. Children grow up thinking carbonated sugar drinks are normal beverages. The normalization is complete. Coca-Cola turned liquid sugar into cultural currency, but the next brand has quietly spread American additives throughout British cooking. Number 3. Philadelphia cream cheese by Kraft Heinz. Philadelphia cream cheese seems innocent. It is in every UK supermarket, positioned as the premium choice for bagels, cheesecakes and spreads. But look closely at who owns Philadelphia. Kraft Heinz, an American mega corporation with a track record of degrading every brand it acquires. The original cream cheese recipe was simple: cream, milk, salt, stabilizers. When Kraft purchased Philadelphia in the early 1900s, they began modifying the formula to reduce costs and extend shelf life. Modern Philadelphia contains milk, cream, salt, and a list of stabilizers, including carob bean gum, xanthan gum, and guar gum. These stabilizers are not inherently dangerous, but they represent a fundamental shift in food philosophy. Real cream cheese should contain cream and cultures. It should have a short shelf life and require refrigeration. Philadelphia can sit in your fridge for weeks or months because it has been engineered for stability rather than quality. The fat content has been systematically reduced over the decades. Full fat cream cheese should be 33% fat. Philadelphia. Full fat is now around 24%. They removed the cream and replaced it with cheaper ingredients while maintaining the premium pricing and positioning. Kraft Heinz introduced Philadelphia Light, Philadelphia Extra Light, Philadelphia with chives, Philadelphia with garlic, and herbs. Each variation moves further from actual cream cheese. The light version contains only 12% fat and uses modified starch as a bulking agent. You are essentially eating flavored thickened milk rather than cheese. The pricing strategy is pure American corporate greed. Philadelphia costs 2 to 3 times more than supermarket own brand cream cheese. The ingredient quality does not justify this premium. You're paying for marketing, packaging, and brand recognition. Kraft Heinz has convinced British consumers that Philadelphia is superior when it is actually an ultra-processed substitute. British supermarkets give Philadelphia prime placement in the chilled aisle. The distinctive silver packaging is instantly recognizable. Kraft Heinz pays for promotional end caps and special offers. They have successfully positioned an industrial product as the premium standard for cream cheese. Kraft Heinz turned cream cheese into an ultra-processed commodity. But the next brand has been hiding unhealthy fats in British baking. Number 2, Crisco. Crisco revolutionized American baking when it launched in 1911. It was the first shortening made entirely from vegetable oil rather than animal fat. The marketing positioned it as modern, clean, and healthier than lard. But Crisco is actually partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, trans fats in solid form. Trans fats are created when liquid oils are hydrogenated to become solid at room temperature. This process extends shelf life dramatically. Crisco can sit in your cupboard for years without going rancid, but trans fats are extraordinarily dangerous. They raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and significantly increase heart disease risk. The science on trans fats is unambiguous. The World Health Organization calls for the elimination of industrially produced trans fats from the global food supply. Multiple countries have banned them outright. Denmark banned trans fats in 2003, and their heart disease rates dropped significantly over the years. The UK has moved toward restrictions but has not fully banned trans fats in all products. Crisco reformulated in 2007 to reduce trans fats, but the current formula still contains partially hydrogenated oils. The label claims 0 grams of trans fat per serving because US regulations allow products with less than 0.5 grams per serving to claim 0, but those small amounts accumulate. Regular Crisco users consume significant trans fats without realizing it. Here is the deeper problem. Crisco taught multiple generations that solid vegetable fat is normal for baking. Before Crisco, British baking used butter or lard. These are natural fats that humans have consumed for thousands of years. Crisco is a 20th century industrial invention created to be cheap, shelf-stable, and profitable. The American baking tradition embraced Crisco because it was cheaper than butter and more convenient than lard. Pie crusts, cookies, cakes, frostings. Crisco became the standard fat in American home baking. Now that tradition has crossed the Atlantic, British consumers buy Crisco thinking they are following authentic American recipes, but they are actually consuming trans fats that their grandparents would never have used. British supermarkets stock Crisco in the baking aisle alongside flour and sugar. The blue and white packaging looks wholesome and traditional. The marketing emphasizes reliability and consistent results. Nobody mentions the trans fats or the decades of cardiovascular damage this product has caused. Crisco spread trans fats through British baking, but the final brand represents the complete American takeover of UK food culture. Number 1. American chicken. American chicken is washed with chlorine, and this is the number one issue that represents everything wrong with American food infiltrating the UK. American chicken producers wash chicken carcasses in chlorine dioxide or other antimicrobial rinses. This practice is standard in the US and approved by its food safety regulators. The chlorine kills bacteria like Salmonella and Campylobacter that contaminate chicken during processing. American regulators argue this makes chicken safer, but UK and EU regulators ban this practice because it treats the symptom rather than the cause. Chlorine washing is necessary in the US because its chicken production standards are lower. Birds are raised in more crowded conditions. They are processed faster with less attention to hygiene. The chlorine bath at the end attempts to fix problems that should not exist in the first place. British chicken producers operate under stricter regulations. Farmers maintain better hygiene throughout the production process. Birds have more space. Processing facilities operate with higher cleanliness standards. The chicken does not need chemical intervention because the entire system prioritizes food safety from farm to table. Here is why this matters for UK supermarkets. Post-Brexit trade negotiations with the United States have repeatedly raised the chlorinated chicken issue. American negotiators demand that UK supermarkets stock US chicken. They argue British consumers should have the choice. But this is not about choice. It is about lowering UK food standards to accommodate American industrial agriculture. If chlorinated chicken enters UK supermarkets, it will likely be cheaper than British chicken. Tesco, Sainsbury's and Asda will stock it because the profit margins are better. Consumers focused on price will buy it. British chicken farmers will struggle to compete. Quality standards will decline across the board as UK producers cut corners to match American pricing. The chlorine is not the only problem. American chicken also contains higher levels of antibiotics. US farmers routinely use antibiotics as growth promoters. This practice contributes to antibiotic resistance, which is a growing global health crisis. UK and EU regulations restrict antibiotic use in agriculture precisely to combat resistance development. American chicken also has higher water content. US regulations allow chicken to be injected with saltwater solutions to increase weight. Up to 15% of the weight you pay for is actually salt water. British consumers would be paying chicken prices for water weight. This represents the broader threat of American food standards infiltrating UK supermarkets. The battle over chlorinated chicken is the battle for the future of British food culture. If American standards win, everything on UK supermarket shelves becomes suspect. On your part, avoid these brands. Buy British when possible. Read labels carefully. Your health depends on it. The next generation depends on it. Until the IE next video, eat healthy, share this video with your loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe.